it's so good to see you again. It's Miss Stephanie and I'm here for Friday Family Storytime. I have some fun books to read and I'm super excited to share them with you. So should we get started by shaking out our hands and waving hello to each other? We wave hello like this. We wave hello like this. To all our friends at Storytime, we wave hello like this. Hello! I see my little container of slime has fallen over. I think I'll fix that. Okay. Well, I think we'll start with this book. It's called Swashby and the Sea, and it's written by Beth Ferry and illustrated by Juana Martinez Neal. And I think it's going to be great. Captain Swashby, there he is, loved the sea. The sea and he had been friends for a long, long time. She knew him in and out, up and down, and better than anyone. So, when Swashby retired, it was to a small house on a small beach, as close to the sea as he could be. Whenever he needed something, the sea provided. Exactly the right thing at exactly the right time. Life was just the way Swashby liked it. Salty and sandy and serene until squeaks and squeals sprang from the empty house next door, which was no longer empty. It had been commandeered by a girl and her granny who planted umbrellas, scattered beach chairs, and boarded Swashby's deck without permission. Oh dear. Swashby battened down the hatches, hid when the doorbell rang, and fed their oatmeal cookies to the gulls. He didn't need neighbors. He didn't want neighbors. He didn't want neighbors. He didn't want neighbors. Neighbors were nosy, a nuisance, annoying. So, in return, he left a message written clearly in the sand. It said, "No trespassing," which the sea fiddled with just a little bit. Look, some of it got erased. "Sing," the girl read, and did just that. She sang every song she knew while dancing up and down Swashby's deck. "What now?" she asked. "Now vanish," Swashby wrote later that evening, adding a starfish exclamation point. And the sea fiddled just a little. I wonder what it's going to say this time. Well, instead of saying "now vanish," it just said "wish," the girl read, picking up the starfish, and did just that. She closed her eyes and began, "I wish—" "No, no," Swashby interrupted, stomping down the steps. "If ye mean to make a starfish wish, ye must say this: starfish back to wave so blue, the sea will see a wish come true." "How lovely," Granny said. "We wish you'd come for a cup of tea, Mr. Swashby." Do you think he's going to go? But Swashby wished to be left alone, so he grumbled and mumbled and hurried inside. He didn't need tea. He didn't want tea. Tea was civilized, friendly, neighborly. What he needed was a new message. He wrote firmly in the sand, "Please go away." And once again, the sea fiddled just a little. "Play," the girl shouted out, and did just that, with Swashby's shells and stones, with his buckets and shovels, but her towers kept falling. "Barnacle bottom," Swashby muttered, marching out. "You're doing it all wrong. Ye must not use the sun-baked sand. It's the sea sand does the trick." And he showed her how to dig for the wet sand below. But Swashby was gone. What a nice castle. Before long, amazing sculptures decorated the beach. "It's the clamshells ye should be using," Swashby called from inside. "Come play, Mr. Swashby," the girl called back. "Swashbys don't play," he answered, banging the shutters. So the sea decided to meddle more than just a little. She inched her way up the sand and tickled the girl's toes. She nibbled on the sculptures and slurped away the bucket. The girl tried to grab it, but "Look at me," the girl called. "Look at her," Granny gasped. "Oh dear, look at her." Granny hurried to the water's edge. But, oh dear, the sea is carrying her away. Swashby was already there. "What are ye up to, you great salty imp?" he asked, scooping up the girl and the bucket. With a great big wave, the sea delivered the pair back to shore, and there was no stopping the laughing and thanking and hugging that was Swashby's reward. "I see what ye did," he whispered to the sea, as he was whisked away to celebrate. After that, it was easy for Swashby to have tea with the girl and her granny, and ice cream and lobster and s'mores on the beach. It was easy for him to share his special sea glass. It was even easy for him to see that neighbors could be fun and friends and family. And when he had a moment to himself, Swashby carved a heartfelt message for the sea. "Thank ye, friend," it says, which the sea fiddled with just a little bit. And now it says, the end. Did you like that one? It was called Swashby and the Sea. I liked it a lot. Here's a book that's really pretty. It's called Who Will You Be? And it's written by Andrea Pippins, who was a super nice person that I knew in Baltimore. We grew up kind of near the same place in Maryland. My child, my little one, who will you be when you are grown? There's loving kindness in your eyes, like your daddy's, and boldness in your heart, like your grandma. Will you be like them? Your cousin, Carlina, is loud and joyful. Will you be like her? Your brother watches the changing clouds. Will he do that with you? When you blow me a kiss, you are loving like your grandpa. And your cousin Gigi, who gives big hugs. Your big dark eyes take in the world. Will you be curious like your uncle? Find beauty in all that you see like Ms. Jess? That looks like they're at the art museum. And be bound for adventure like your auntie? Amina makes cakes. And pies. Will you do that too? Will you be compassionate like Alessandra? Cute dog. And little one, will you be grateful? Oh, so grateful like me? My wish is that you will be all these things and more. You will be your own self, for no one in the world has ever been like you. And this I know, my child, whoever you will be, I will love you forever. Who will you be? I like that one too. All right, you guys, look at this. It's called Pugtato, and it's written and illustrated by Sophie Corrigan. Look, it's a dog and a potato? Pugtato finds a thing. Ooh, I wonder what he's found. This is Pugtato. He's a simple, good spud. He can often be found digging in the mud. One day, as he planted some seeds in the ground, he dug up a thing all shiny. and round. Pugtato thought hard, but he hadn't a clue what this thing was or what it could do. So he cleaned up the thing and took it away to show his best buddies to see what they'd say. High in the shrub, Tweetroot fluttered her wing. Tweetroot, come down. What on earth is this thing? Look, he's a pugtato. And Tweetroot is a bird and a beetroot. That thing's for me to keep warm in my nest. So she plopped down upon it and puffed out her chest. Do you think it's an egg? Oh, that's much too warm now. I'm afraid we can't stay. Then Pugtato grabbed Thing and they went on their way. He then asked Tomatoed, look, it's a toad and a tomato down by the puddle, do you know what this is? It has me befuddled. That thing is for bouncing, he croaked. What a treasure. And he gave it a wet bouncy lick for good measure. Oh, this won't do, Pugtato said with a sigh, and he took Thing away to give Pursnip a try. Pursnip was napping, which was not a surprise, but a woof from his friend made him open his eyes. Sorry to wake you, but I am confused. Can you tell me how this little thing should be used? Of course, Pursnip purred as he stretched out his paws. That thing is for scratching, to sharpen my claws. As soon as Pugtato heard Pursnip's advice, he had second thoughts. Scratching's not very nice. Finding out about Thing was a difficult task, but Pugtato had lost more best buddies to ask. Carrot, it's a carrot rat. Carrot thought Thing was for gnawing and chewing. And Cowbage, well, she simply stared at it mooing. Pugtato showed Thing to the 3 Brussels snouts. They snuffled and snorted that Thing all about. But they snuffled so hard it shot up like a spring. Right to Cauliflower, who gave chase to the Thing. Cauliflower. It's a dog and a cauliflower. Cauliflower was sure a new toy had been found as he barked at Thing loudly and tossed it around. Now Pugtato was worried. He became quite attached. He didn't want Thing to get dirty and scratched. But when Thing rolled away from his best buddy's paws, uh-oh, it landed near Crocoli's big snappy jaws. Crocoli, oh dear, yelped Pugtato, that isn't good. And he ran off with Thing just as fast as he could. When he came to the field, there, mysterious and tall, stood Unicorn on the cob, the wisest of all. Hello, do you know what this strange thing might be? Like everyone else, you're much smarter than me. Oh, little Pugtato, you must follow your heart, for it holds all the answers and sets you apart. Can you see the unicorn on the cob? It's amazing. Pugtato stared hard at the thing he had found. Perhaps it's just shy, so it hides underground. I may not know much, but I know when I see a thing that needs hugs. So here's one from me. As Pugtato was wagging his cute tato tail, there suddenly appeared, a curly kale snail. Pugtato was happy. Despite being muddy, I know what you are. You're my newest, best spuddy. This is Pugtato. He may not feel smart, but he's wiser than most when he follows his heart. I love it. All those funny vegetable puns. All right, last one. It's about Calvin. Calvin Gets the Last Word by Margot Sorensen, and Mike Dees did the illustration. Calvin gets the last word. See that kid reading a book? That's Calvin. And I'm the book. I'm Calvin's dictionary, and I'm tired. If you were Calvin's dictionary, you'd be tired too. Why? Because Calvin loves words. I mean, really loves words. That means he has to find exactly the right word for everything, especially his rascally brother. Just wait till you see what happens. In the morning, Calvin brings me to the breakfast table. His tricky brother waits to tell a joke until the very second that Calvin gulps his milk. So Calvin snorks his milk out of his nose. That's why my page that reads revenge has milk spilled on it. But Calvin knows that's not exactly the right word for his brother, although it sounds interesting. On the school bus, everyone is pushing and yelling and shouting, running up and down the aisle, throwing backpacks. That's when my page that reads mayhem gets torn. But Calvin knows that word doesn't quite fit his brother, though it's close. At school, Calvin shoves me under his desk. The teacher asks Calvin a hard question about the Nile River, and Calvin sinks down in his chair. That's why my page that reads bewilderment is wrinkled. But Calvin knows that word has nothing to do with his brother. He was feeling bewildered. He didn't know. Calvin carries me under his arm to the school library. When the librarian isn't looking, he and his friends write notes to each other like, "Pass me some bubble gum." Of course, my page reading subterfuge is stuck to another page now. Somehow Calvin knows that doesn't work for his brother either, but it does help him think. They used subterfuge. They sent hidden notes. On the way home, Calvin puts me on the seat next to him. When one of the big kids grabs a little kid's pencil box, Calvin grabs it away from him and gives it back to her. Now you know why the page that reads courageous has pencil scribbles on it. Calvin thinks there is no way that's the right word for his brother, but maybe for himself. He showed courage. He was courageous. Calvin even hauls me along in his bat bag to baseball practice. He loves to crush the ball during batting practice, sending it over the fence. That's why the page that reads pulverize has grass stains on it. Calvin knows that although that word could work, not to mention it would be fun, it's not going to be exactly the perfect word for his brother. Now don't pulverize your brother like he did to the baseball. At the dinner table, Calvin puts me next to his plate. His brother waits to tell another joke until the very moment that Calvin's mouth is full. Wouldn't you know it, Calvin sprays broccoli everywhere. That's why my page with retaliation has green bumpy clots all over it. But Calvin knows that still not quite the right word for his brother. Close, but not yet. Something is missing. Oh gosh, look at the broccoli. At bedtime, Calvin slides me under his bed. I'm exhausted. My spine is bent, my pages are dog-eared, my cover is limp. I need a break. Even the page that slumber is on is wrinkled. But Calvin drags me out from under his bed, gets his glass of water, and tiptoes into his brother's room in the dark. Suddenly, I'm not tired anymore. Has Calvin finally figured out the right word to use for his brother? There they are. I'm sure I already know which page to turn to, and I'm happy to rifle my pages to find it. It's going to be soggy with water, but I don't care. Prank! That is the right word for his brother. Splash! Uh-oh. Hold on a second. Calvin is laughing. His brother is laughing too. They high-five each other. So now I'm looking for hilarity in my pages instead. When Calvin grabs me, quickly he flips to a new page. I'm wide awake now, and there it is. The very best word. Family. Aww. That's nice. Even though his bed was probably pretty wet, they laughed about it because they're brothers. Well, friends, I will see you next week. It was fun reading stories with you. Bye.